of the weekly webinar. It's Adam Brown here with Propy. I've got Ryan Mueller from sunny Florida, Kyle Keller from even sunnier Phoenix. Here in St. Louis today, we had our first blizzard of the year, so it's about 6 inches of snow on the ground. So I'm sure you guys are enjoying the weather better than we are. But real quick, let me give you maybe a 1 minute intro. Ryan is in Southern Florida. He's been selling real estate for a while. He's in the Boca Raton area, investing crypto heavily. He's a guy that's been selling real estate for a long time, a subject matter expert on a lot of things down his neck of the woods. Kyle Keller, very, very similar in the sense, been selling real estate for a while, really successful. He actually branched off and did some really cool things with NFTs and intellectually curious and got into the NFT art space world a while back. He and I met through some things he was doing actually at Art Basel in your neck of the woods, Ryan. So if you guys want to kick us off, Ryan, you want to give us kind of 2 minutes on your backstory, your career in real estate, and then we'll go to you next, Kyle.
Sure. How's everybody doing today? My name is Ryan Mueller, and well, let's see here. I've been selling real estate now for about 21 years. I got licensed back in 2000 after I graduated from University of Florida, Go Gators. So I actually majored in real estate and urban analysis. They had a major there for it at the time. It was the last year I got it for undergrad, and it was just for grad school. So a lot of good professors and good information taken away from that. And did traditional residential sales and brokerages for a year, and kind of moved up to investment properties and got into commercial properties. And I also do a lot of buying and selling and investing. Remember, I'd always push the investment properties so hard. My clients would say, well, if you like it so much, why don't you buy it? And I thought, well, it really makes a lot of sense. So 50% broker and 50% investor now, because the reality is, the money you can make buying and selling is a lot better than 3 to 6% or whatever commission it is that you may be getting. So and then I been pretty heavily involved in blockchain since 2017. Acquired my first Bitcoin in 2014, and I just love real estate. I love blockchain. I love crypto. I love it all. It's just the perfect fit for me. So I really love what Propy stands for and what they're all about, and I think they're really leading the way in the future of real estate. So I'm excited to be a part of this.
Thanks for coming on board, Ryan. Kyle?
Yep. And Ryan, it sounds like we're a lot alike. I also have been selling homes for about 21 years now. I got licensed in 2001 when I was 21 years old, just turned 42 last week. And, I love real estate. We've also fixed and flipped probably over 75 homes. My wife and I have 19 properties, 18 are rentals. And then we do own a 13-unit building in Kansas. It's 50-50 that I own with a friend of mine. And really just trying to build up our passive income and have that monthly passive cash flow coming in. And I would say on our regular real estate transactions, we do about 60 to 70 deals a year here in Arizona. I have a small team. My parents are on my team. It's awesome working with them, and then have a full-time admin who's been with me now for about 6 years. She was in escrow business for 15 years. So very familiar with transactions and everything. And then I didn't get into crypto until January of 2021. So very new into crypto. I've been watching it forever, just didn't understand how it worked. And in January, finally decided just to buy some Bitcoin, about $100 worth of Bitcoin to figure it out. And, since then I bought Ethereum and Matic and, which is Polygon and a bunch of other different things, and then started buying NFTs as well. So I'm really excited to see NFTs being a part of real estate and, kind of being on the forefront of that.
Cool. It's funny, you guys have both been in the industry since 2000. I'm sure you've ran across this. Those of us who've been in the industry long enough, I've been in and around the industry since 2000 as well. And you kind of start to notice there are people who lived through 2008, 2009, 2010, and you work with people now, and you kind of, once you go through one of those down cycles, you never really forget it. And you always kind of have it in the back of your mind. But there are a lot of people in real estate that came in 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, and they've only been in these bull markets. And so I feel a little bit like the old man in the room sometimes when I say, well, what if the market slows? And they look at me like the market never slows. And so I'm sure you guys can see that a little bit in your offices. So let me get specific with you, Kyle. One of the interesting things when you and I first met was you started talking about your NFT holdings, Mr.
Yeah.
OpenSea over there. Give us a couple minutes, and it's interesting. This is why I asked both of you on your deep dive into the NFT world, and on the flip side, Ryan has spent a tremendous amount of time, effort, and energy in the crypto world. So I want to pick both of your brains. But Kyle, why don't you start us off? I know even in your wallet, you've got a crypto punk. You've bought a lot of NFTs. You're kind of a guy who went down that rabbit hole. Give us your experience. Then also, if you wouldn't mind, you went to our Basel. I think this was the first year Basel really got into the NFT digital space. One of the first couple years. Maybe give us 5 minutes on kind of how you went down that road.
Yep. So as far as NFTs go, I don't know if you guys have heard of Gary V. I'm sure you have, but
Oh, yeah.
Gary V is very heavily into NFTs as well. He has his own NFT collection called V Friends, and I listened to a bunch of different podcasts and heard him talk about NFTs. I had no idea what it was. Sounded stupid to me when I heard about things, NFTs being sold for millions of dollars. And, but as I continued to, listen and learn, I had a friend of mine who also was buying some NFTs, and his brother was as well. And, kind of looked through his wallet of what he was buying, and he had pictures of elephants and, apes. And, it was very interesting to see what he was doing. Again, I thought it was stupid. Most people that I talk to about NFTs feel the same way. They just don't understand it. NFT stands for non-fungible token. And basically, it's the first time that you can actually have digital ownership. Okay. So like I own an NFT, and Adam, you could right click my NFT, my CryptoPunk, and say that you own it now too. But there's actually metadata behind the NFT that I own showing that I am the actual owner using my Ethereum address. So you could possibly sell yours to somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. However, if you're going to try to connect your wallet to OpenSea and be able to sell it from there, you actually need to be the owner of it.
Right.
So, but yeah, I actually won a CryptoPunk. I was listening to a podcast and at the gym, and they were saying that NFT Anonymous was going to be giving away his CryptoPunk. And so I'm trying to find out, how to win it. Went on and actually bought 2 different NFTs of his collection, and he was giving away a CryptoPunk, Bored Ape, a few other different things. And it was actually my second one that I bought that was the winner, and won a CryptoPunk. And I asked him, when am I going to get it or whatever? And it just actually showed up in my wallet while we were, on Twitter Spaces, and was just in my wallet. So crazy story. I mean, the CryptoPunks came out in 2017. So they're kind of one of the OG crypto projects back when Ryan was, getting into crypto, and they actually gave those away for free. Right now, the floor of the CryptoPunks is right around 80 Ethereum. So, I think today's price is about $2,700, $2,800. So it's, pretty big number as far as what that is. But my friend has 2 Bored Apes, Bored Ape Yacht Club. He actually minted those, minted one of them for $180. And right now it's worth 100 Ethereum. So, and one thing with like Art Basel and Miami, to think about it this way too, is NFTs can be, a lot of different things. And we were able to get into one of the Bored Ape Yacht Club parties by having the mutant ape. So it was in our wallet, and they actually check your address. That's how you were able to get into this party, was checking your address to make sure that you were the actual owner of that, of that NFT. So, kind of think of it, NFT, as almost like a membership into, a different community. And so there's all kinds of different things. There's music NFTs, which haven't really gained too much traction yet, but a lot of art. And then obviously the real estate stuff that I'm really excited about. We got the first one coming up, and I don't know, that's what you're going to tell us about here shortly.
I appreciate that segue into that. So for those of you who don't know, I'll put it in the chat here, but here at Propy, we're NFT, the second home for us overall, but the first home ever to be NFT'd in the United States. We're really excited about it. It's in Florida. I'll put the link on here, but it's really interesting the way that we're approaching and the new way that we're going to use NFTs to to sell real estate. So before I get too deep into that, Ryan, Kyle had mentioned the blockchain. We're talking about NFTs. I know you spent a lot of time on NFTs as well, Ryan. Can you give us maybe 2 minutes, Ryan, on what blockchain is, just so we don't leave people behind in the conversation? And I know you spent a lot of time thinking about NFTs and multiple uses. Can you give us a few minutes on your thoughts on that? And also, before we get too far away from it, you've been in and around Bitcoin since '07, which, in the Bitcoin world is a long time.
I got into it heavy in 2017, but not until 2014. It didn't exist in '07. So
I thought it was minted in '09. So I'm glad you corrected me.
Yeah, '09. Yeah, '09.
Yeah.
January, I believe. God, the 4th or 5th was the Genesis block.
Maybe you wrote the code for Bitcoin, as I was thinking. So tell us your experience there. And before we get too far, though, what does the blockchain mean to you, and kind of a simple explanation for those listening?
Sure. Yeah. Let me try to keep it simple and an easy way to understand. Kind of the technical way is it's a system of recording information in a way that makes it basically difficult and impossible to like change, hack, or cheat the system. So that's kind of the technical definition, like a public ledger, basically, to keep track of people that send stuff, receive stuff, move it back and forth. But I think a better way to look at it, and people tend to understand this more when I explain it, is look at the different blockchains. Like you've got of course, Bitcoin, the one that made blockchain somewhat famous, even though it existed before then. You've got Ethereum, you've got, all these other different cryptocurrencies out, Binance Smart Chain, Sol, whatever it may be, Polkadot, that operate on different blockchains. Look at those as different operating systems, like Windows operating system and Android and Apple, Linux. I think that's an easier way to understand, because within those blockchains, you can create different tokens. Each coin that's its own blockchain can create tokens on it. And those tokens, you can look at dApps, decentralized apps, where you can create apps that live on that blockchain or operating system. That seems to be a way that most people can kind of logically make sense out of it, because it gets a little complicated otherwise. So the question now is, out of all the thousands that are out, which ones will make it? So, but to me, that helped me get my head around it better. So Ethereum is the coin, and there's hundreds of other tokens that live on the Ethereum, as in like Propy would be one of those, that live on the Ethereum blockchain, so that's kind of the simplest way I've found to explain it, that most people kind of helps.
So tell us about what in 17, about 7, in 17, what got you heavy into crypto?
I acquired my first Bitcoins in 2014 from a friend of mine that owed me a couple bucks. I think they were about $150 then. And he said, well, I don't have the money, but I can send you these Bitcoins. And I said, well, what's a Bitcoin? I said, wait, they send me something and they send me money in the mail. I didn't understand it. I had no idea at the time what he was talking about. Most of the world didn't. And at any rate, he convinced me to take it. So I kind of got it, and then we would hang out at my house and barbecue and stuff and shoot the breeze. And that's when it was trading, I think, between like $100 to $200. So we'd buy a couple of them, sell a couple, and sometimes in a day or two, it'd go up and down $25, $50. Oh, I made $50, made a couple $100 because we'd be doing, multiple ones at a time. Like it was just a joke, like a video game or something, So looking back, it's painful to see how many we got rid of at such a cheap price, but I did keep a fair amount of them. And the beginning of 2017, a good family friend of mine that I've known forever, he'd been getting heavy into crypto for years. He started buying Ethereum when it was only a couple dollars, and he was traveling to all the conferences around the world when they were doing them at the time, and pictures of him in Vitalik, and kept saying, Ryan, you got to start going to these. And he said in the beginning of 17, he said, I'm telling you, bet the farm, and everything this guy touched turned to gold. So I said, I really respect and appreciate this guy, and I know he's putting in the work, and he's already a multi-millionaire many times over from different businesses. So I really respected his opinion, and went pretty heavy at myself. So initially, I guess you could say I came for the money, but the more I stayed in it, the more I realized this is truly going to change the way everything works in this world. It's not just about the money by any means. It's going to restructure government. It's going to restructure politics. It's going to restructure everything. And I think in a much more positive way. So, I guess you could say I came for the money and stayed for the revolution.
It is funny, crypto and this vertical it attracts people who do have a different mindset about how people can interact with each other in more wholesome or more less nefarious ways. And even if you look at how, the Ethereum network was built, they went nonprofit route. They actually had Vitalik Buterin, who I just read the book Into the Ether. It's an awesome read. Anybody to listen, it's called Into the Ether. It's basically how the group that launched the Ethereum network basically wanted to create the internet for the world. And that was their exact term. And even within the story, it talks about how these co-founders, they met in Miami, the crypto capital of the world, and they talked about how they want to go nonprofit, for profit. They had a lot of different debate on it, but they eventually went not for profit. Then it talked about some issues they had with protocol and some people taking advantage of the system. And then that's where Ether Classic came out. If you've ever seen Ether Classic on Coinbase, you can't ever figure out the difference between that and Ether. The regular coin is, it's all there, but it's a great read. But it's called Into the Ether. But to your point, and I think we all probably listen to Gary Vee a little bit just because the guy can say really simple stuff and sound brilliant. And for me, a guy from a farm in Indiana, he says things in language I understand, which is the beauty of it, because he speaks at my level of makes it really simple and I get it. But I do think with NFTs, you have a lot of people who do see the big picture, the macro of, hey, listen, smart contracts, the ability to transfer goods in a really meaningful way. And I think sometimes here in the US, we get a little bit spoiled because we don't have a lot of nefarious forces that are always nibbling on the edges, or we have government that, for the most part, is very stable. We don't have to worry about title issues or title fraud, where some people don't have that luxury. Some people worry about their economy and currency fluctuating violently, where we're a little bit lucky in the sense that we have a very stable economy. And so if you look at a lot of the value that crypto and the chain brings, it brings immutability to a lot of people who really do have to worry about that, maybe more than we do. But no one wants to hear my view on it. So Kyle, walk me through. I think I read a stat the other day: 12% of new home buyers leveraged or used some sort of crypto to buy their house in 2021. Are you guys seeing that in Arizona? What are you guys seeing for crypto, blockchain, from a buyer-seller perspective?
I have not seen, I haven't personally had any clients anyways that have leveraged their, crypto or NFT holdings. I know there are some companies out there that, that are doing that, where if you do have a Bored Ape that's worth $300,000, you can take out a loan against it. I personally have not done that yet. It is something that I want to do with my portfolio as well. I want to try to experience it and know firsthand. And, a lot of the people that I know, I don't have a ton of people that are into crypto as much as I am. I think we're starting to see more people, coming on board. I think they said NFT was the highest searched result on Google. I think even higher than crypto now. So people are really interested in it. Everybody's learning, but I do see that being, more of a thing because a lot of people have, 90% of their net worth in their NFT portfolio right now, because you've seen such huge growth in some of these NFTs. And so people are starting to leverage that. And I think it's really, it's really exciting. So,
yeah. What about you, Ryan? I know South Florida is a little bit more crypto friendly, or at least they proclaim that. Have you seen many buyers, sellers interacting with demand in the chain, or looking at crypto for assets to buy or so?
There's definitely a lot of interest in it. Our regional MLS here, Beaches MLS, was actually forward thinking enough, probably about 3 or 4 years ago, to add in the MLS under terms considered. You've got cash, conventional FHA, all that standard stuff. They added a cryptocurrency section, which at the time I was like, what? Oh my God. But they were also replaced by a bunch of very younger people right around that time, which they were hip and smart enough to see what was coming. So we were probably one of the first MLSs to do that. I would imagine most agents had no idea what it was. So I advertise a lot of my properties that way, because it's kind of my niche by forte, and it helps me track down the other agents that are into it too, because they'll respond right away. Hey, I see you listed it offering cryptocurrency. It's cool, especially years ago, because most people didn't even know what a cryptocurrency was. So yes, it's popular. I've got one listing on now. I think, you know, that $10 million one, got another one that I'll be putting on next week for $6 million. So it's definitely paying off because people are realizing I'm kind of the agent that understands both worlds pretty intimately. So it's definitely, I'm seeking some rewards from that now, which is great. And I just enjoy it. You know, the more you understand crypto, it's, you know, I've got friends that'll enter and say, well, I want to introduce you to really into crypto, but I don't know what we're going to talk about. I said, just set up a coffee meeting. Trust me, we speak our own language. I've done that so many times. We'll end up talking all day and carry on to dinner at night somewhere on the Ave or around where we live. So it's just, we kind of speak our own language, and people that are into crypto really want to work with agents that understand crypto.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't know if anybody will buy. I still think we're going to have one more strong push before a bigger correction. It's tough to tell which will happen. So I think they're going to wait to really optimize on that before a lot of these people are willing to cash out and sell it, because we're kind of in that mid-range right now. We're basically already down about 50%. So odds are it won't get too much worse. I think they're going to wait for that final ramp up before the big correction, which it does all the time. So don't panic if it doesn't. It's just sit tight and hodl, as they say. But yeah, it's more and more common. I know some agents in Miami that have done transactions. I don't know anybody that's closed anything yet in Palm Beach County, but of course, New York and LA and all the bigger cities.
Yeah.
And it's all not. I'm looking forward to hopefully being the first agent in Palm Beach County to close a deal on Bitcoin. So
Yeah, you know, it's I've been in and around realtors for 20 plus years, and this is at Propy. It's one of the first companies where realtors and brokers actively seek us out to say, hey, help me out with this, help me out with that. You know, in your sales career, usually you're chasing down prospects. Hey, listen, let me come in and talk to your team about whatever the product might be. But here it's really been interesting because big brokerages reach out to Natalia and Joe and myself, and Natalia gets on stage and people love it because it's clear to see that she's really kind of a step ahead of most of us in terms of just figuring out crypto and the chain and how real estate's going to be transacted. And so it's really interesting to see the intellectual curiosity a lot of agents and brokers have. And I use that term a lot because a lot of people say, oh, crypto and blockchain, that's for young people. It's really not. It's for the intellectually curious. You know, if you look at people with wealth and success in life, you know, a lot of those people know about blockchain and know about crypto, and they want to see where not the puck is right now, but where the puck is going. And it's not a young person's thing. It's an intellectually curious thing. And we're living in a time for the first time where technology evolves our lives and our lifestyles at a really rapid pace. You know, the phone and technology and the global economy is really here. And so that's what I'm the most excited about. So let's talk a little bit about how your business is doing for 2022 in the traditional sense. Kyle, I'll talk to you specifically. You know, COVID and Omicron now and the pandemic has really affected a lot of different industries in really meaningful ways. You know, I remember, 2 years ago about this time, maybe closer to 20 months ago, a lot of brokers I worked with were doing reforecasts. The sky was falling. We're having to lay people off. And then 2021 ended up being one of the best real estate years, if not the best real estate every year for retail real estate. So we're in the pandemic still, so to speak. What does 2022 look like for you in Phoenix in a traditional sense and beyond?
Well, I would say, right now it's still as crazy, if not crazier than it was last year. So we're coming out of the holiday season right now, which is always a little bit slower, but we have a lot of people here in the Phoenix market from October to March. And so a lot of snowbirds come here. Same thing within Florida. Right. So we have a lot of secondary home people that are in town buying right now. But I mean, most of the deals that we have, everything's getting multiple offers on them. I was with clients over the last weekend, listed at 595, and they had, 15 offers and offers up to 700,000 with cash. And the buyer was he put 700,000 earnest money down. So we're seeing people waiving inspections. Waiving appraisal, really anything that you can think of to get the home. People are doing it right now just to get one. We're seeing rates, starting to creep up, which is getting some people off the fence. But I would say, I think through this next year, I think we're still going to see, a really low supply and prices to continue going up, unless we see a bunch of inventory hit the market, which I don't foresee happening. All signs are a go so far in 2022.
Yeah. What about you, Ryan? How's it looking in Boca? You're mostly in Boca, Ryan. I keep saying South Florida.
I'm based out of Delray Beach, which is the next town to the north of Boca. I was born and raised in Boca, so but Boca and Delray, they're both very popular destination locations. So yeah, our market is still on fire. Honestly, I don't like it when it's this far out of whack because you've probably got 7 or 8 buyers for every 1 seller. So, you take these buyers out, you show them, and even if they're coming in cash, full price, I mean, the expectations of sellers is a little crazy. You know what I mean? They just want you to waive contingencies of all sorts, inspections. It's almost hard to properly represent a contract when it's basically like, just give us the money and don't ask any questions. So, but you almost have to come in with very aggressive offers if you want to buy. A lot of that, we've got no state income tax, of course, here in the state of Florida. And we've just, I think, got a very well-run state. I think people appreciate how things work here. They appreciate our weather, especially this time of year. Windows are open, sliders are open. It's great, of course. So,
you're rubbing it in on me, aren't you?
Yeah, walk to the gym in t-shirt later on. So, yeah, it's nice down here. And I think people are really starting to appreciate what it is. So, I think the market's kind of catching up to where I thought it should have been years ago. I mean, I was always blown away when I first started how cheap everything was, although it was everywhere proportionally, it's really caught up to it. So yeah. We were so undervalued for so long. But that being said, I think with the Fed starting to tighten interest rates and trying to get inflation under control, raising interest rates, that may impact things a bit. But I mean, I don't recall exactly what the national shortage is. I think 5 million plus homes that were light on inventory wise. People will continue to come here. All the rates are going up. And it's like, please, how much are they really going up? I mean, to be anything below 6% is very cheap money. You know what I mean? A lot of people need to just kind of reflect more back in history and read some books if they weren't around as far as what happened in the 80s and SNL and things like that, where there was 18% interest rates on mortgages, So I think we've all just gotten so spoiled.
I was talking to a mortgage broker who's actually on Friday, and he said he had a person call him and said they were going to wait till rates came back to normal. And he said he about flew off his seat because, they were complaining that it went up half a point. And for those of you who haven't, Ryan's being a little bit modest. If you haven't been to Delray Beach down on the coast, it's a really cool town. It's a sleepy beach town. It's really fun. First Avenue is awesome. The Delray Affair, which is this annual art fair, is really, really cool. That's South Florida. I spent quite a bit of time down there. It really is special. It's a lot of cool towns along the coast there. So and then you got Art Basel once a year. Kyle, if you feel like getting crazy, go down to Miami and deal with all that madness. So talk us through, Ryan, if I'm a realtor, I'm here in Missouri and I don't know a lot about crypto, but I think I should know more about it. How would I learn more about crypto? How would I kind of educate myself into that market?
That's a great question. And, honestly, even still to this day, especially more so lately than ever, I probably literally spend about 60 to 70% of my time researching and reading up on different crypto and crypto projects, because that's such a big part of what I do. And things are literally changing at the speed of light. It's tough to tell where to begin. Maybe if you're just trying to get a general knowledge on it, or if you were focusing in on, just general crypto investing, or you wanted to learn more about, the decentralized finance and how you can stake your own coins or do yield farming, or if you wanted to get into decentralized autonomous organizations. There's so many different sectors within the industry. You'd almost maybe have to, I guess my best advice would be, believe it or not, there's some decent people that you can follow on YouTube that, again, don't follow any one particular person that think you're going to get great advice. Always spread it around, but there's decent content out on YouTube where people will give pretty broad overviews. And once you start picking a sector that you like, you can get more specific in what you type in and find guys that have a good following and get a lot of, likes and positive responses and things like that, because a lot of these people now are speaking at the national events that are happening, like the Bitcoin event coming up in Miami in April and all that. A lot of those guys, got there because of their YouTube positions and other forums like that. So to me, that's a great place to start. And just general, I mean, I wouldn't even know where to tell you to begin because there's just so much information out there, but I would just kind of start Googling around, looking for some bigger publications and find ones that seem to fit what you're looking for.
Yeah, I also think, for me, whenever you watch YouTube and I get sucked into that rabbit hole, the comments and this, crypto has a very passionate base of fans who will often tell you what you're doing wrong without asking for their opinion. But with that being said, I love the ability for how much information we can download on podcasts. I think there's, I don't know, quote the number, but there's well over 3 or 4 million podcasts that are produced each week. I'm making that number up, but it's a tremendous amount. And just the amount of information on very specific topics to be able to digest at your pace. When you're driving your kids to school, when you're driving to the gym, when you're on the treadmill, the amount of information at our fingertips and through YouTube, but well as just the podcasts is unbelievable. I went on a vacation last week and I took 3 books with me, read them relatively quickly because it's a long flight out to Hawaii. And I kept asking the stores, hey, do you have any books? I said, like paperback books? No. And finally this older lady goes, why don't you just buy a Kindle? So she yelled at me. And so then Heather said, you need to buy a Kindle because they don't sell books out in Hawaii, apparently. So the amount of information digitally at our fingertips is unbelievable. Kyle, let me put you on the spot. If I was going to ask you, hey, how do I get into NFTs? If I just want a kind of base level course on NFTs, on crypto, what would your advice be to the realtors and brokers listening?
Yep. So one thing that I'm happy to do, Adam, too, is send out an email to you and you can share it with people that are interested. I can put together kind of a little bullet point list of different things, but I would say, briefly, they're going to want to set up, some kind of online wallet like Coinbase, Gemini, start there, get a wallet set up and buy some Ethereum, buy some Bitcoin. You don't need to, buy $10,000 worth of Bitcoin. And the other thing is you don't need to buy 1 Bitcoin. You can buy 0.000001 of a Bitcoin. Yeah. That was something I didn't understand at first. So it's like, Bitcoin was 20,000 and, so I have 1 Bitcoin, I have to pay 20,000 for it. And if I want to buy pizza, how am I going to buy pizza with my Bitcoin? I just
keep the change.
It didn't make sense to me, but so get a Coinbase or Gemini wallet set up. And then one other thing you're going to need to do is download a MetaMask wallet. And there's a plugin for that on Chrome, or I have a MacBook, but for Chrome or the other one, Firefox, you can do it on there. And then OpenSea, it's sea as in the ocean. Yeah. And that's the website where most people do all of their NFT transactions. There's also Super Rare and another one called Looks Rare. So those are the websites that people are buying and selling NFTs on. The other thing that you're going to want to do is buy like a Ledger device, and Ledger device is a hardware wallet. Sorry. So it's a cold storage wallet. Whereas if you own something on your MetaMask wallet, that's considered a hot wallet. So that's something that you can do. I would say most of the information that I'm getting right now is on Twitter. So crypto information, NFT information on Twitter is where I get most of my information, YouTube as well. But, on Facebook, Instagram, I am not seeing hardly any crypto stuff on either of those platforms. Twitter Spaces is really cool. Never been on a Twitter space until I actually won that CryptoPunk, but it's kind of like a podcast where when you're on Twitter, there's all these different spaces where you can just jump on and join a conversation. You join as a listener, but you can kind of, raise your hand and go up on stage and talk. So that's a good thing. Discord is also, something else that we use. And I think Propy has a Discord channel, right? So I'm on there. It'd be nice to see that one, have more people come in and join the conversation there. And then same thing with podcasts. So there's a couple NFT specific podcasts. I love podcasts. I don't listen to music really anymore. The car, the gym, it's all about podcast and learning. So, but that's where I learned about that NFT giveaway for the CryptoPunk. So I'm happy to kind of put something together and send it out.
Yeah. I like that.
Great.
I drive my 3 teenage sons to school every other week. And I said, are you looking forward to driving? To my 16-year-old son? And he goes, yeah, that we have to listen to these podcasts every morning. I can listen to music. I said, hey, listen, get off my lawn. I'm an old man. Ryan, before we get too far away, Kyle went on down a a whole, he's talking about hot wallets, cold wallets, frozen wallets, microwave wallets. Walk us through wallet types, Brian. I know
Sure.
you're.
I also posted a few names there of people that I like to follow. I saw some other people mentioning him in the comments, and Michael Slayer is obviously, like, everybody knows him. He's the guy that keeps buying Bitcoin left and right, and one of the largest owners of them with what the heck, I can't think of his company. It'll come to me, but anyway, he's a great guy to follow. Andreas Anopoulos is very solid for all sorts of different levels to follow. Anthony Pompliano, I like him too. They've got their own thing, him and his brother. So. And yes, crypto Twitter, by the way, is huge. I wasn't really thinking of that, but I guess there's just so many people that I follow, I don't even know where to begin. So, but anyways, that being said, so when you first get into crypto, more than likely you're going to open yourself like a Coinbase wallet or a Gemini wallet or a Binance US wallet. When you buy and sell cryptocurrencies through them, they are the custodian of your cryptocurrencies. They're actually holding your coins. So what's important to remember is, and then we'll get into hot and cold too, but they're all kind of intertwined. That the problem with that is back in 2014, I believe it was called Mt. Gox, was hacked, and hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin were stolen. They actually just settled this a while back, where they got hundreds of thousands of them back, and they're going to be redistributed to trustees around the world, and this and that and the other. But if the exchanges get hacked, they can get access to your cryptocurrencies. Granted, security's gotten better and it's unlikely that'll happen. It's still possible. So even though those exchanges will take some of them off and put them in cold storage, which I'll get to in a minute. So as you become more and more comfortable with the technology, you're going to want to download things like MetaMask and things like that, which are decentralized wallets, which you'll use to log into Web3 things like DeFi things and to buy, whatever it may be, different assets that you're going to be buying and things of that nature. You have the keys to those wallets, which means there's an expression in industry called "not your keys, not your coins." So if the third party is holding them on your behalf, like Coinbase, and something happens, you could just be SOL. Now, the trade-off is when you put them in something like MetaMask, you're going to have this seed phrase that you write down like 12 words. So if you drop your phone off the boat while you're fishing and it's gone forever, the only way to retrieve that wallet back is to re-download that app and put those numeric seed phrases in there to get all your information back. The great part about it is nobody can get access to that. Nobody could confiscate your assets. Nobody, not even the company MetaMask, has the information. So from a security standpoint, I like it. The trade-off is you are 100% responsible for your assets. And if you lose them, you can't call 1-800-MetaMask. It's just, well, sorry, it's gone forever. So, now hot and cold storage, anytime it's left on, whether it's MetaMask, a decentralized wallet, or you're centralized at Coinbase or whatever it may be, that's hot storage, meaning it's online and really susceptible potentially to being hacked and stolen. Now, if you do your security right, then generally you'll be okay. Make sure to use, the double authentication, like from Authy or Google or whatever it may be. It's very important. Don't use the text because you can get SIM swapped and lose a fortune that way. So make sure those Authy apps, the information is actually in your phone. It's not connected to anything outside live, so it'll work even when they're offline. Now, to secure it and take it offline, I'm a big fan of Ledger Live, which is like a third-party piece of hardware. So you've got it, basically your wallet set up on your laptop, if you will, or it can be on your phone, plus you plug in this other device. So I have to log in on my laptop, plug in this other little device. It's like a SIM card. And then, there you go. and then punch in another code on there. So it's essentially you're taking the crypto almost as if it's not exactly, but taking it offline. So when you have it on this Ledger Live, you can put that in a safe or hide it wherever you want. If that device isn't plugged in, there's no way anybody could steal your crypto no matter what without that device. So it's basically the safest way to store it. So once you start getting to a significant amount of money in crypto, you definitely want to invest in it. If it's hot, it could potentially be stolen.
Yeah, so those guys are operating at like an MBA level of crypto, maybe even higher than that. So if you've got a reasonable amount of money in Coinbase, I think is fairly safe. What I would tell anyone who's just kind of inching into the water, take $10, $20, $30, go to Coinbase, open up an account. I can assure you $30 is fine. No one's looking for 0.00001 of an ether. But what you do is you kind of get to see the platform. You get to see how the wallets work. You get the daily email, which I think is very informative. You can kind of toe into it. And after about 30 days of just being on Coinbase, logging in, checking it, doing some of the free promos they have, where they'll drop you some newer coins, you kind of get to see that ecosystem, that world. Now, is Coinbase a bit of, training wheels for the crypto world? Maybe, but we all learn to ride a bike at some point. And so there is, we deal with this every day, and there isn't a day that goes by that I don't meet a lot of people who know a lot more about crypto than I do, and that's okay. But you got to start somewhere. And I think for real estate agents, a little bit is, really good real estate agents are really good at selling houses. They don't have time to do a lot of the work that you guys have already done. But you can kind of edge in there. And there's this scarcity mindset that people have that say, it's too late to get in. That's already passed. It hasn't. We're still in the abundance phase of crypto and chain and the technology as it impacts real estate. So I encourage you to get in there. I'll do a shameless plug here is, I encourage you, if you're relatively new to crypto and blockchain in your real estate, take the crypto certified agent course. It's 8 classes, about 45 minutes each. You can do the classes at your time. It's relatively affordable. You become a crypto certified agent, which allows you to join the Crypto Alliance as well as some other things. But it will teach you everything you know from a realtor's perspective and how to talk crypto, how to talk chain, and to be able to attract people that maybe want to deal with realtors who can help them leverage holdings they may have, or just that's their passion. People who get into this niche of the crypto world are very passionate about it, mostly for the right reasons, because it's holistically a very good thing for the planet. And then there are people who want to get rich on it, but that comes with any new technology. Any new innovation has that. So make sure you try to weed the two out and figure out which one you should take advice from. So a couple minutes before I go, Ryan, we didn't get a chance to talk to you. Just traditional real estate 2022, what do you think's big? What do you think's happening? I think with the inventory being so low, I don't see any sort of replication of 08, 09. What are your thoughts in your neck of the woods, traditional real estate?
Sure. Well, when COVID first started, I'll be the first to admit I was dead wrong. I thought everything was going to absolutely tank. So I don't know if I'm the best one to ask for this question, because I'll admit when I was wrong. And boy, I even owned a bunch of real estate that I sold, and foolish me. But who would have thought that would have happened? Everything would have went up. But the more time I've had to do research and analyze this, we're obviously in a time of heavy inflation. And even though they're raising the interest rates, the economy is a cruise ship, and it takes years and years to turn around. So we're going to be in my opinion, in a heavy state of inflation most of this decade. So inflation often looks like a bubble, but it's really not. So I think this is the new norm. These prices, I believe we'll see them continue to climb, maybe level out a bit, but until we can catch up, inventory can even kind of catch up, it's just not going to happen overnight. And I think Florida is just a very desirable place, and people are going to especially keep moving here. So my prediction for this year is things will continue to trend north with everything that's going on here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just the echo chamber that we live in because we're in crypto and chain, but all I hear about is South Florida. South Florida, South Florida, South Florida. I don't know if it's just because it's so crypto friendly, and then you follow people who love South Florida, it comes this echo chain of South Florida. But it feels like you guys are doing some things really well down there, and obviously the weather and the state income tax don't hurt either.
Yeah, and Miami is becoming somewhat of the new crypto hub. People are bailing out of Silicon Valley and San Fran and New York. I mean, Miami is like the happening hip spot for crypto in a big way. And a lot of these younger 20 and 30 something people that made tens and hundreds of millions of dollars are taking themselves and their money down there and buying some sweet places, because I know a lot of these people. So they're definitely, that's the new hub of crypto for sure. People
forget that, Miami's always been the banking capital for South America and Central America. So there's always been this tremendous banking influence there. And so the mayor there, who is a big Propy fan, our CEO knows him really well. They've done a really good job of looking ahead and saying, hey, we're going to kind of align ourselves with crypto and this technology. So kudos to Miami and South Florida. So let me, I've crowbarred a couple Propy plugs in, so I appreciate that, boys. Let me, if I'm thinking about buying or selling in Phoenix, Glendale, anywhere in Arizona, Kyle, how can people watching this find you? And I know you're a big NFT crypto guy, but you still sell a lot of houses there, and I'm sure you'd love to sell more. How would they find you and your team?
Yep. So you can go to my website. It's kylekellerteam.com. So I didn't mention at the beginning, my last name's Keller. I am at Keller Williams. No, I am not related to Gary Keller. So everybody always asks me that. But yeah, they can go to kylekellerteam.com. My email is kyle@kylekellerteam.com. Phone number real quick, 623-570-5953. I am on Twitter, but most of my Twitter stuff is basically crypto NFTs. So not really talking a ton about real estate on there, although I am getting people, because in my bio, it still says that I'm a realtor. And so I am getting people actually reaching out to me about real estate through there. And then my Twitter handle is 570Kyle, and you can find me on there. So, but I am happy to send out that information, Adam, to kind of help people.
Yeah, anybody who would like that, just email me, adam@propy.com, and I'll get it to him, Kyle.
Yep.
Ryan, I know you sell a lot of houses, South Florida, Boca, Delray, West Palm. I'm sure you'll sell them. Anything that makes sense. What do you want to give away for your contact information?
Right there, I just put my name and number. My email is rjmrealestatecorp@gmail.com. So anybody has any questions or comments, or they need some more information on me, just shoot me an email. That'd be the best way to track me down. And I'd be happy to chat with you. Anybody that wants to talk crypto, it's all I do every day. So especially look out if you catch me in a neighborhood bar, because I will corner you in the corner and talk to you about it for 4 hours until you buy a small amount of Bitcoin. So
yeah, well,
I've literally done it with like 100 people in this town so far. I'm not even kidding. It's kind of funny, but I'm known as that guy in town. So
I'll tell you a funny story. The first person who ever turned me on to crypto was about 3 years ago. He's a caddy at a golf course, and the guy's hanging on the back of the cart. He's smoking weed, giving me all this life advice about crypto and the blockchain. I thought the guy was an absolute lunatic, and he might be, but there isn't every couple of days I think about that guy and go, boy, you were the dumb one for not listening to him, because he had it figured out. And then 3 years ago, you could have got in a little bit sooner. So kudos to that guy. I don't remember his name, but I do think about him quite often. One more time, Kyle and Ryan, because a lot of people are going to be watching this in social and the play. They won't get to see the chat. If they want to reach out to you, best way, Kyle, what's your number again?
Yep. Phone number 623-570-5953. It's actually 570 Kyle is my phone number. That's why my Twitter handle is 570 Kyle. And my email is kyle@kylekellerteam.com.
Perfect. Ryan, one more time.
sure. Yeah. rjmrealestatecorp@gmail.com. And looks like here, I'll post my link in there as well. If you guys want to track me down there as well, so that information will be there. But if you just Google Ryan J. Muller, I'll come up on all sorts of different sites and things like that.
Ryan J. Muller. Got it. All right, guys. Thanks for your time. It's good seeing you. Talk to both of you guys soon.
Okay. Good seeing y'all.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Adam.
No problem. Anytime.
Bye-bye.